Thank you for listening to Depictions Media Radio. Welcome back to Depictions Media Radio. I'm your host, Michael Clogs. In most of the world, high-speed internet is a luxury. But here, Canada and the United States, it is becoming more and more of a necessity. We're not just talking social media, we're talking the ability to interact in the business world, to be able to find your way into meetings on a virtual basis. Zoom is becoming more and more of a term for, hey, let's meet and video chat. And high-speed internet has its gaps in North America that governments are looking to close up and connect everybody so that we all have high-speed internet. So with that, Lisa Beare, Minister of Citizen Services, and Rafi Khanun, Minister of Jobs and Economic Recovery and Innovation, have released the following statements. We are excited to make this historic announcement that in years in the making, giving people, businesses, and community in every part of British Columbia high-speed internet over the next 5 years. This is a joint investment of $830 million between the federal and provincial governments, which means many First Nations communities will have high-speed internet, which in those First Nations communities are actually lacking. Internet access, advance true, lasting, meaningful reconciliation and self-determination. Approximately 115,000 households in rural and remote Indigenous communities that are still underserved will now have the same digital economic opportunities as the larger urban communities. So let's listen to what Lisa Beare has to say.
One of you, and the second one will be a thank you song for being present here, each and every one of us. Kukstam. Creator, I thank you for having a blessing and pity on me. Creator, I thank you for having blessing and mercies on you. Creator, I thank you for having a blessing on each and every one of us, especially for the things we are doing for the people and the communities and the country out there. We thank you for being here as well. And happy International Women's Day to each and every one of you that are out there. And for that, we're going to be thankful for this. We're going to sing one more song from Stataseltin, the late Stataseltin of the Wanikwokwolmuk people. And it means, Haichka means thank you in Halkamelam. The first song was a blessing, a prayer song that Quenawatir has composed of the Wanik territory. So the thank you song, you may be familiar with this one. Two different Stalo and Stafnium. We are going to do two different languages. One is Stalo, Halkamilam, and the other one is going to be Statliam, from two tribes mingled together. Thank you very much for this opportunity. We are honored to be here with you to share this moment in time.
Heichka Florence, Flight Heichka Josette. I'm very pleased to welcome everyone I'd like to welcome everyone to the Mission Library for some historic news for rural British Columbia. I would like to welcome the Minister of Rural Economic Development, Gudie Hutchings, as well as Minister of Citizen Services for British Columbia, Lisa Beare. As the Member of Parliament for Cloverdale-Langley City, I'm proud to say that our Liberal government has been dedicated to bringing reliable, high-speed internet to all Canadians, no matter where they live. And I can safely say that hard work is paying off across Canada. We've made great strides in working to ensure that no community and no home is left behind. Since 2015, and in British Columbia alone, the Government of Canada has invested over $135 million, which was used to fund over 40 projects across the province. Just last week, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced a huge investment by the Government of Canada to help small businesses grow and expand in the digital economy. These are the kinds of programs that are helping our economy remain competitive and further expand our markets. But to get there, these communities need access to the internet. Today's announcement is another step towards our goal, and I'm proud to say it's a big step for rural British Columbia. Here now to share some details about what both governments of Canada and BC are doing to solve this connection gap is my good friend and colleague, Gudie Hutchings, Minister of Rural Economic Development. Minister Hutchings.
Thank you, John, and welcome everybody, and especially welcome for that, and thank you for that beautiful blessing. It's so great for you to be here today. John remitted to say I'm from the other coast. I'm from the west coast of Newfoundland and Labrador. So I've gone from coast to coast this week, and I've certainly enjoyed it. It's delightful to be here with my new friend and colleague, Minister Beare. John, always a pleasure to be with you. And today is International Women's Day. And first and foremost, I want us each to pause and take a minute and think about the strong, powerful, determined women of Ukraine and what they're going through these past few weeks. It is absolutely unconscionable. So let's, in our prayers and recognition today, think of those women in Ukraine. But there's also some powerful women in British Columbia that I've had the pleasure to meet these last few days. Of course, Florence and Josette are part of that. I spent some time with Chief Logan in the Prince Rupert area. I met Jill, the CEO of Waterway, and what they're doing with that company internationally is mind-blowing. I met the resilient Zoya in the part of the hardworking staff in Chilliwack as I toured the devastation to their community, but how they built back stronger and better, and how they rose to the challenge, literally rose to the challenge of the water, and fixed that, and made it passable for their communities. And then there's some other powerful women in this room, and one, of course, is my friend and colleague, Rachel Blaney. And I reached out to Rachel to tell her I was here today and what we were doing, because connectivity isn't politics. Connectivity is connecting every single Canadian, and today we're talking about every single British Columbian. So this is something that Minister Beare has been working on a long time with my predecessor, Minister Monsef, and now with me, since I've been so fortunate to take this post as Rural Economic Development. Because we know that access to reliable, affordable, high-speed internet is essential. But there's no doubt that the pandemic really expedited this. And our Liberal government understands that. We're committed to reaching our national target by connecting 98% of Canadians by 2026 and every single Canadian, no matter where you live, by 2030. And we've backed up this commitment with action. The Government of Canada is investing billions of dollars to build internet infrastructure throughout the country from coast to coast to coast. And that's what brings us all here today. In fact, did you know that still more than 115,000 rural homes across British Columbia do not have access to reliable internet? So you can see why it's so crucial that we close this connection gap and ensure that every nook and cranny of British Columbia has access to internet. Whether it's from Masset to Keats Island, from Dease Lake to Lillooet, or from Hendricks to Port Alice, we are going to get Canadians connected. And as with any national goal, the federal government cannot do it alone. Achieving 100% connectivity is a shared responsibility that reaches across many jurisdictions. Here in British Columbia, the provincial government is already stepping up to the plate, and I want to thank Minister. Sunday, I visited the Highway of Tears with the Minister virtually in Prince George, and we met with the local Tl'aque'e First Nation representatives and leaders, and I am so grateful they had the time to spend with us. I have to say my heart goes out to all the loved ones who never came home. And please know that we are listening and we are taking steps to ensure that the safety of all Indigenous women and girls, two-spirited LGBTQ plus peoples, and among the 33 recommendations of the Highways of Tears Symposium report, both levels from Canada and BC committed last April to provide $4.5 million towards the $11.6 million cost of installing cellular infrastructure to provide coverage along that entire corridor of Highway 16. And this investment is to ensure that women, especially Indigenous women, who are not safe can call for help and receive the services they need to ensure their safety and security. That was truly many levels of government and municipalities and Indigenous communities and the business community working together to achieve that goal. There's nothing better than partnerships. So the reason why we're all here today, I am proud to announce a partnership between both governments of Canada and British Columbia in an historic agreement to connect 98% of the province by 2026 and 100% of British Columbia by 2030. This historic partnership is investments of just under $1 billion in total funding by both levels of government to accelerate high-speed internet by connecting the remaining rural homes of BC, which means 100% of your communities. Of this amount, both levels of government are providing up to $415 million each. I cannot express how great this is, what great news this is for British Columbians, especially British Columbians in rural communities. We know that high-speed luxury is a way of life. It's a necessity, and we plan on delivering on that promise. So my congratulations to every single person who made this possible. We're going to make a real difference in the lives of all British Columbians, no matter where you live. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Minister Hutchings, for that amazing announcement. And with that kind of investment in British Columbia, you're welcome to come here anytime from the west coast of Newfoundland. But it really is a pleasure having you here today. I couldn't agree more that high-speed internet is no longer a luxury. That in today's day, it is truly a necessity. As you mentioned, the pandemic has really driven that home. I'd now like to pass the floor to someone who has been instrumental in helping to form this partnership, Minister Beare. If you would like to come to the podium, we'll hear some comments from you.
Thank you so much for joining us today as we gather on the traditional territories of the Stolo people. And Josette, Florence, Haishka OCM, thank you so much for the warm welcome and the blessing. What a great way to start this event. Thank you. And I want to thank the Mission Library, of course, for hosting us today. And most importantly, I want to thank Minister Hutchings from flying coast to coast to come join us. Thank you, my friend. It is wonderful to have you here in British Columbia, and we couldn't be more grateful to partner with you on this project. So today, and a thank you to Robert Phillips with the First Nations Summit, who is also in the audience joining us today. So as Minister Hutchings said, today is Women's Day, which is a day when we honor the many women, the girls, the two-spirited, the non-binary people in our province who are often the cornerstones of our neighborhoods, our families, our communities. And I'll be celebrating the countless inspiring women in my life today, and we did so with Minister Hutchings earlier. Thank you so much. Now I get to celebrate the connecting work we're doing here in BC. And I'm very pleased to be here with our federal partners to announce this historic partnership to connect British Columbia all across this province. Since 2017, our government has invested $190 million to advance work being done across the province to provide high-speed internet to people in rural, remote, and Indigenous communities. And we have made great progress so far. We connected over 500 communities, but we know there is more to do. And the pandemic has truly shown us now more than ever how important it is to have high-speed internet in your life. From telehealth to online school to connecting virtually with your loved ones, we've said it. Internet is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. It's vital to daily life, especially here in BC. And I am pleased that with the federal government as our funding partner, we will now be able to work together to completely bridge that digital divide here in BC. To provide every single household and every single business within our borders, we are launching a new provincial program called Connecting Communities BC. This new program will also provide communities an opportunity to be more involved than they ever have been before in our work to connect communities across the province. This will allow us to be more responsive to the needs and the opportunities communities have identified. Connecting the entire province is a complex and an important task that will take a team effort. It's going to mean our federal partners, our provincial and local governments, our Indigenous governments, along with the telecommunication companies. And so I am pleased to share with you today that BC will be providing up to $415 million in funding towards this $830 million federal-provincial partnership, including the $289 million just recently announced in Budget 2022. That funding is going to go towards building the infrastructure communities need for better connectivity, whether that be through fiber, through cable, through satellite, because we want to make sure that there's flexibility in the infrastructure so that we can find ways to serve even the most remote communities where other infrastructure methods might not be possible. And connecting First Nations with high-speed internet aligns with the Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples Act. And it's included in 4.27 in our DRIPA draft action plan, which states every First Nations community in BC has high-speed internet services. We have already, as a government, committed through the draft action plan to connecting First Nations across this province to high-speed network, and now I'm pleased to say we are going to be accelerating that. We've accepted the federal timeline, and we are going to accelerate it here in BC. Our provincial timeline will be a target of connecting all remaining communities in BC by 2027. And we know we can reach people as quickly as we can because we know improving connectivity doesn't allow British Columbians to only connect with each other. We know how important it is to those communities to attract visitors from around the world, to expand their economic development. BC needs the talent and input from people in every corner of our province to build a stronger BC for everyone. And thanks to this wonderful partnership, we will ensure every person in every corner of this province is part of that important work. I want to thank my new friend, Minister Hutchings, for taking the time to be here again today, because together we are going to close that digital divide once and for all here in BC, and we're going to provide equal access to every person and support BC's path to success and prosperity. Thank you so much. Thank you. You're getting a hug. Good. Wonderful.
Thank you, Minister Beare, and I really appreciate all of the work that you've put into this file. British Columbia, particularly rural British Columbia, will definitely benefit in the years ahead, and it's amazing to see how the British Columbia government has joined the federal government to make this happen, so thank you so much. I'd like to now call on Abigail Seeley, who's going to speak to us. Abigail works in the online world, and we were speaking before the event started, and she's going to share some thoughts on how this kind of announcement is so important to people like herself and in the industry, the sector that she works in. So Abigail, if you'd like to come to take the microphone, please.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here in Mission, a city I've been proud to call home for the past 15 years. To be a part of this announcement today and to lend my voice to the chorus of people who know just how important it is to have access to high-speed internet. Having good connectivity isn't just about making my job easier, even though it definitely does, but more than that, it's the backbone of my work. Due to good connectivity, I was able to make a job transition that has had major improvements, so not only how I view my line of work, but has given me incredible opportunities that I wouldn't have had before making this transition a year ago. In my new role as a social media content manager and graphic designer at Connect Media, I'm able to work with incredible clients across the region, as well as team members both locally and nationally. I believe this pandemic was a major shifting point for businesses, as they search for ways to navigate change and still be successful during lockdowns, economic challenges, and uncertainty. Shifting to a remote workspace has not only allowed me to maintain an important work-life balance, but it allows me to meet with clients on a more regular basis, increasing productivity as I help them navigate social media platforms and manage content, which is not only good for myself, but for my company and clients as well. This has been a game changer for the success of my clients, but it wouldn't be possible here in Mission if I didn't have access to high-speed internet. There are people just like me all across this province with great ideas and a willingness to work hard. We have a lot to contribute to BC's economy and just need to have the tools we require to do our job. I want to thank both the federal and provincial governments for taking this step today. This connectivity program is going to make a difference for a lot of businesses across this province, allowing more jobs just like mine to thrive, and that's going to be great for our economy. Thank you.
So thank you, Abigail. And I know you had mentioned that you work in particular in the tourism sector. And right now, as we come out of the pandemic, we're going to need people like you working online to help the world know how beautiful British Columbia is and Canada is, so we can get them here and help with our economic recovery. So thank you, and really appreciate the work that you do. I think that Abigail has further highlighted how much of a positive impact this investment will have for countless communities across our province. And now we're going to call both ministers back to the floor for media. And as I depart, I'd like to thank the Mission Library for being our host today, and we'll now have any questions from the media. So, ministers.
Can you hear me there? Hello, hello. All right, there we go. Thank you. And we'll start with in-person media. One question, one follow-up. Please make sure to direct your question directly to the minister in which you have the question. Do you have anyone that wants to begin?
Have our Universal Broadband Fund was announced, and it was $2.75 billion, and of that we're committing $415 million in this Memorandum of Understanding with the provincial government today to connect the rest of British Columbia.
Okay. Sorry, someone's asked me to repeat the question. Just how much is the national investment in the program?
Our federal government has a new fund called the Universal Broadband Fund, which has many tools in our toolbox, of which one of that is money. And of that, we've taken $415 million today to partner with the province of British Columbia to connect the remaining households in this province.
And could you just explain how it will be rolled out and some of the partnerships involved?
As Minister Beare alluded to, connecting the rest of the country and the rest of British Columbia is a partnership. It's listening to our Indigenous communities, our municipalities, and it's making sure that the internet service providers, when they come to the table with their applications, all the applications, I can tell you, are assessed under the technology that they're using. Affordability is a key piece of that, and the Department of, I said, Innovation, Science and Economic Development, and Minister Beare's department will assess all these applications and make sure we are getting to those last households in British Columbia. I refer to connecting the country as a puzzle, and we have to make sure we put every piece in that puzzle, and this is what it's going to with partnerships and taking this money and finishing the job here in British Columbia. Thank you.
Any other questions? Nope. Okay. We'll go to the operator line. Are we queued up or not yet?
I can hear you, but we cannot hear the answers, so not all the mics are being heard.
Hold on for 1 second here.
We might
we'll try questions for participants on the phone. If you have a question, please press *1 on your keypad.
Operator, if we can proceed with asking the question, you can queue it up and then they can listen to the live stream for the response, if that works.
That's okay. So I just provided *1 for them to queue up. No one has queued up.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
This show has been produced by Depictions Media. Please contact us at depictions.media for more information.